Welcome to our holiday workshop series. We're here with Nicholas Leete from Rooted.
Hi, thanks for having me, Nico.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're making pie. This pie crust recipe is from my mama, Sheila Leete. And what I've done is actually did a double batch because we're going to do top and bottom crust. We might actually end up with some extra crust, but that's fine. And what pie crust is, one, you can buy crust from the store, and oftentimes it's quite good, so also an option. Then you could skip this whole step. But it's a cup and 3/4 of flour, and then half a cup of butter, also known as a stick of butter. I actually have double that, so there's 2 sticks of butter in here, and then math. You want to help me with that math since you're in school? Cup and 3/4 times 2.
Cup of 3/4 times 2?
Mm-hmm.
6. Wait. Pause.
No pausing. Just. This is how long.
I don't know, but I'm just saying like pause. Like.
Oh, you're okay. Yeah, take your time. This is going to take a little bit of time.
3 cups and wait. Okay, because I'm bad on math.
It's 7/8 times 2. Or wait, no. It's 7/4 times. It's 7/4 times 2. So it's 14/4. So it is almost 4 cups. New math. You don't need to get it right. It's also pie crust. You don't really need to get it right. It's a mix of butter and water and flour.
I don't bake.
Now you do.
I do not bake at all. I hope you guys know this. I do not bake at all. Only thing I know is how to cook eggs.
You were talking like dough was boring earlier.
Yeah, dough is really boring.
Like
I do not get the point of
bread?
it. No, I do not eat bread.
Oh, well, that's fair. You can eat what you want. So the point of dough is usually it's a wheat bread because wheat holds together well because it has gluten.
Yes.
And the strands of gluten make everything cohesive so your bread doesn't crumble. Like cornbread is all crumbly usually.
Yeah.
Tortillas aren't crumbly for some reason.
Some of them.
Maybe you learned that at a specific.
The cheap ones. The cheap ones are really crumbly.
Yes. But none of them have gluten in them, so who knows? But bread holds together well because of the gluten strands lining up, and it makes it doughy. Crust for pie, you also use flour. You also use wheat flour because you do want the gluten to hold things together, but you don't want your strands to align well because that will make it like gummy. It'll make your crust doughy, which is bad. You want it to. So what I'm doing is not sort of smearing. I'm actually sort of just cutting the flour. I forgot my pie cutter thing. You can also use lots of different tools. Honestly, you could use a fork too. A lot of people are very particular about making pie crusts, and the last pie crust I made was actually not very good. Very embarrassing. I brought it to Thanksgiving and everyone. Actually, it was my family, so they weren't like lying. They were like, yeah, sorry about your pie crust. So what you're avoiding, there's a lot of particular things people do. Some people will freeze the butter beforehand because there is some water in butter. And what you're sort of avoiding is limiting the amount of time that the water is interacting with the flour. Because the more you mix the water and the flour together, it will sort of start to line up your gluten strands and make a mass of like very cohesive crust, which will like hold your pie, but it's too cohesive and it doesn't have sort of a laminar structure where you have a layer of flour, a layer of butter, a layer of flour, a layer of butter, where it like flakes apart, like a croissant, but it's not a croissant. But it's sort of the same principles. You have so a lot of people like will just like cube their butter, or you don't really want to use a spoon because I'm more just trying to shred the butter into small-ish pieces without overly mixing it. So we're actually going to wait to add the flour till after the butter's mixed, because again, there is some water in butter, I think it's, just look this up, it's maybe like 7/8 oil and then 1/8 whey, which is like milk byproduct. This is a very interesting session you're doing, by the way. But yeah, that's the gist of it. You want to avoid mixing your butter. Well, you mostly want to avoid mixing your water in too much, or it will not be flaky. That look good to you, Sarah? You make pies, right? Stop. Sarah's not talking, and Nico, my interviewer's disappeared.
It looks good to me. I usually get it about
Like
pea-sized
lumps of flour. I do have some big ones in there, which, and my mama will actually like stop at this point and make a whole bunch of it and just put it in a bucket in the cabinet and then make however much pie crust she wants. Like you can do this ahead of time. I've never done that. I'll worry a little bit about the butter going bad or something, but I don't know. I think that's also because she used Crisco, because like back in our day, Crisco was like a healthy alternative because it wasn't saturated fat. It was a nice trans-saturated fat. Turns out. This is supposed to be informational. Trans-saturated fat is bad for you. Crisco was this cool thing. It came in a vat, like huge vats of margarine, basically. Crisco's margarine, isn't it? It might be like fully before your time that margarine, like, they still have
I was
margarine.
born in 2010, man.
Yeah.
I only started speaking when I was like 6.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, let's call it done. We're done talking about whatchamacallit, crust. So now we're to the like anxiety step where if you mix it too much, then your pie will be horrible. Or it won't be horrible, just the crust will be bad and the inside will still taste fine. Everything's gonna be fine. We are looking for a measuring cup. So yeah, if you're worried, you can, at this point, put your crust in the fridge again for like an hour to get everything cold, because you're sort of trying to limit microscopic activity, and that is, you have less activity when things are cold, and you don't want to like melt your butter with the water. So like definitely don't use hot water here. I'm gonna get a bigger measuring cup. You got ice cubes here? Or not? No, it doesn't matter.
I broke the bag.
Um,
I broke the bag of ice cubes. I'm sorry, man.
So, and one sort of like sidebar on materials. I was using this to like cut the flour with the butter. You can also use a fork. I would say that a pastry cloth is very nice for making a nice crust. You can get it wetter and like be less careful with things sticking. It's very good at making things not stick. I think my sister gave me this pastry cloth. I think it's an import from England when she was living there, because like pies, English culture. But I think you could use, I know you can use like a sock, like a standard, use a clean one, but like a sports sock for your rolling pin. And for your rolling pin, you could use like a wine bottle, or any bottle that's that long, that's decent size. And then the cloth, I don't know, maybe a dish towel would work. And you like never have to wash this. Just keep it floury. That's a big important part. So this was sort of the prep for where we're gonna put this. And then this calls for 2 cups of flour, of water. No, 2 half cups of flour, which is math.
Why are you looking at me like I know?
1 cup.
Again, I did not. I did not really pay attention.
That was a softball. I'm seeing like big pieces of butter in here, but we're not going to worry about it.
Oh, we're not going to worry about it?
Yeah, they'll smash right out. Sarah's not talking, but you can give me a nod if it seems like a good move. Mix only as needed. That's what the rest. So dough loosely clumps together. So here we go. 1 cup. It actually says a half to a third. So 2/3 to 1 cup of flour of water for a double batch. So here we go. Mixing loosely only as needed. And let's say that's as needed. And we're going to do a top and a bottom crust. I washed my hands earlier before this started. We're going to get flour on my hands so that they don't stick to the crust. And then we'll grab half of this, make it into a ball. I'm feeling pretty good about this. It's nice and flaky. And then let's put some flour on top so it doesn't stick. And then you roll it out. It's actually a little undermixed. You can see it's like falling apart. And you see like there's little pieces of flour in there too. Or there's lots of pieces of flour. There's little pieces of butter in there. And we go until we feel like it's big enough, which here's our pie tin. It's going to have edges, so you have to like do some big geometry. You can see there's a crack here, so you grab some water with your finger and do some some plaster work and just smear it. The rolling pin can do some wound repair too. Anyway, there we go. We got a pie crust. We can do this cool move here. And we put it under there. You got that one, Sarah. And then, oh no, we see lots of holes. That's okay. We got some extra on the edge, so I'll grab this. Get my finger to make it adhere. Adhere means stick. And then just press it down. Oh yeah, you were supposed to add a teaspoon of salt to all of that. We didn't have salt, but it's salted butter, so it's probably fine. But add the salt to the flour at the beginning. And yeah. I'm big on like taste over appearance, so I'm just gonna leave these things to hang for now. Because crust tastes good if you don't do a bad job, which I think we didn't. So go us. And then let's just wait on that. I found some fruit in my freezer this morning, so there's a small amount of raspberries and some berries and some rhubarb. And yeah, it's a fruit pie. I think you hear, and then it's a lot to taste, whatever you want to do. Rhubarb is pretty acidic, so we're definitely adding some sugar. Some people add a cup of sugar for every cup of fruit, which I think is a little bit. And I didn't measure the fruit, so let's add a cup. Some people do very little sugar. One thing that I also forgot is lemon juice, which some people put in, and so it's a little bit of a like escalating thing of if you add more lemon juice, you have to or get to add more sugar, to the point where you can make like a lemon pie, maybe you could say. I'm just going to do it to taste because I didn't measure anything so far. You want to taste some? You want to get yourself a sanitary spoon?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yippee! Do I just grab it?
Just take a, yeah. And this is all fruit, so like you wouldn't do this with a meat pie. Sour? Okay, let's add more sugar.
That's too sugary.
Oh, really? Okay, let's not add more sugar then.
I don't know, wait, because
the rhubarb will pull some of that. The rhubarb will balance it out a little bit.
Because I have gum, so.
I was talking to Brian, one of our coworkers, and he recommended, I was a little anxious about doing, not anxious, just like, we'll see, it might be very soupy blueberry pie. He recommended tapioca as a thickener for blueberry pies. He was like, I make blueberry pie all the time. I've never made blueberry pie in my life. I usually use flour for thickener, so we're going to put that in and take some of Sarah's flour and put that in too.
Wait, you never made blueberry pie?
No.
What?
But I've made fruit pie, and it's all the same.
Oh.
Right? It's fruit pie.
I mean,
apples you want to peel. Rhubarb you want to cut up because it's big. And also, this is from a freezer, so it's actually going to be more watery because you get like breakdown of the materials in the freezer. If I was measuring, which I probably should have, apologies everyone, I think probably maybe a 1/4 cup of flour. Or if you're using cornstarch as your thickener, probably like a tablespoon. Or if you're using tapioca, look it up. Have you used tapioca before?
No.
Those
well, at least
that boba tea, I think, is tapioca balls.
What?
Boba tea.
Oh,
Those balls with the big straw.
I've never tried boba tea.
I
I haven't tried a lot.
might be
of
spreading
things.
misinformation right now.
Don't look
Anyway,
at me, y'all.
This is again like the more thickener you add, the more your pie will be like when you cut it, it stays as a shape. And if you add too much, then it'll be, I don't know, not taste good.
Too much flour.
Too much of your thickener, so cornstarch or flour or tapioca. I'm in favor of juicy pie. Like, what's wrong with juice? So we're gonna put this over here because if we get the juice on the pie thing, then I would actually have to clean it, which would be horrible. And then we're gonna hope we guessed correct. Seems about right. And some people, yeah. Let's just keep things simple. We're gonna put it in, and we're gonna roll the crust afterward. Yeah, this is totally fine. Do you have a spatula?
Didn't you just use a spatula?
A rubbery spatula.
We just had a rubbery spatula.
Got like 100 of them downstairs, I know. It's fine. I don't know if this is horrible audio or good audio. Don't worry about it. You can use a fork as a spatula. Here, look at me go.
Ah, yes. It's a fork.
And this is actually, I think, ideal. You want a bit of a mound because it's going to sink down as it bakes. But yeah, a pie. And then you could do lots of things. You could just basically make granola, mix oats and butter and flour till it looks like it's good, and sugar. You gotta add more sugar. You could, I don't think you'd want to do it open face. That would be dry. Here, I should get you to help over here. Do you want to roll one out?
Sugar? With sugar?
What?
Wait.
Oh,
Wait, what?
Did you want to roll the top crust?
I'm not good, man.
Okay.
And I'm also wearing all black, so you know how that...
Okay. Yeah. I should have aprons. Do you have aprons in here for your cooking class? You should get some aprons.
So we'll be using like.
Can you act? I don't want to contaminate the flour. Can you pour some flour into there? Because I got like.
I would say how much?
That's fine. And yeah, so same deal. This is even less important to get right because the bottom crust needs to hold the thing, hold your innards. Top crust just needs to like taste good. So if it has a gap on the top, it doesn't matter. If it has a gap on the side, then maybe you're going to boil over, which is why we have our pan so that you don't have to clean your oven afterward. But yeah, again, roll it out. Remember to put flour down on your whatever you're using. And then as I was doing to like repair my damages earlier, you get the spot that you want to make a seam wet. You could use like one of those cool cooking brushes, which you might have somewhere in this kitchen. Or you can use your fingers because I washed my hands beforehand.
I also did.
Nice. So yeah, you do that. Try to not get water on your whatever cloth you're using. Try not to break it, which, mixed success. And then press down your seams. And yeah, that's a pie. You can use lots of different fruits. You can use, I think well, don't do like an orange pie. That'd be kind of weird. And look, we have a little extra piece that I fell off. And so let's do that seam. You do want the stuff to be able to boil out. Otherwise, it'll explode from its weakest point. So you grab yourself a knife. And if you're doing a meat pie, you draw a smiley face. And if you're doing a vegetable pie or a fruit pie, you draw a plant. So then everybody knows what it is. That's a plant, right? It'll totally turn out as a plant. You can put some roots on there. And yeah, then you can do lots of things. You could just fold this back up, but that might be a little thick. So let's just go like that. We can do something else with this crust. And you can do, that's a method to like make sure you have a seam, is go around like that. Then you get your like classic pie thing, whatever you call it. You can see actually I didn't do a seam good. So that's actually just gaps between different parts of the upper crust, which is totally fine. This upper crust is going to be real thick, which is great because we did a good job rolling it out, probably. Sarah's not talking, so she can't give any commentary. We'll find out in about an hour. Did you preheat the oven? Yes. Okay,
Yes.
Cool. So yeah, that's the pie. If you're going to do a meat pie, which is basically like a roast inside of a pie, you usually pre-cook the meat. Also great, you want more salty crust, so definitely don't forget to bring salt. And then the extra flour, extra pie crust, you can just roll out. This is a lot of extra. This is like almost a whole pie. Should make sweet potato pie until it looks good.
Sweet potato pie.
And then
We have a lot of sweet potatoes in the garden.
I think you're doing sweet potato
Or
pie
at least
later.
we had.
Normally the extra is not like an entire pie, but then you can just put some sugar. That's maybe a little bit extra sugar. And cinnamon, which I have somewhere.
Sugar for what?
To taste good.
Oh, so you're going to make it like a little dough with sugar and cinnamon?
This is just like how to use your leftovers.
Oh, so they don't go to waste.
And
Sarah's behind the scenes, watching every single move that we're
and some
doing.
cinnamon. Or you could mix this ahead of time and it won't be way off with your ratios, but
Mix the
and
cinnamon.
I'll just bring this home and do something with it. It doesn't fit on the tray. And it might actually get covered with juices, this stuff, which
You
sounds
should
great,
mix the
honestly.
cinnamon.
Here we go.
Because then it gives you that little...
Yeah, the color. That does look better.
Yeah, and also makes... I think it mixes it better.
So.
Like
yeah, because it'll just be like, it'll like turn into dust.
Because then there'll be sugars.
Yeah.
Sugar and cinnamon in
Mhm.
other places.
No, good call. Yeah, any questions?
How much of an experience do you have with cooking or bakeries, such as...
I feel like I've baked for about 25 years, probably. My mother taught me to bake. Also lots of other family members too. And yeah.
Besides
pies.
pie, what else have you cooked?
I do a lot of cakes, bread. Yeah, mostly cakes and breads.
Mm-hmm.
You can make like, yeah, lots of kinds of pies.
Do you have a favorite?
I like banana cream pie, which is sort of a totally different thing, even though it's in a pie tin, because it's a graham cracker crust, and then you put bananas in, and then you put custard in, and then you make meringue out of the egg whites that you took out while you were making the custard. And then you bake that. So now you have the recipe for 2 pies. Except for the ingredients you don't have. This is like Lim Rosetto Casper. Anyway, we put it in the oven. And you want an action shot? There it is in the oven. You have a pie tin underneath so that you don't have to clean your pie when it boils over. And then you turn up your oven to 375 so it's done sooner. Let's do that with a clean hand. And we're ready to do a time warp, right?
So it's currently almost 5:30 right now.
Oh,
Well,
geez, really?
we'll catch you around, let's say, 45 minutes from here.
Let's check it in half an hour. Because aren't you done with work in half an hour?
I do overtime, okay? Different schedule sometimes, you know.
Okay.
Plus, I'm the only one here, so
Oh, yeah, the crust
I'm
could
lonely.
use some salt.
I'm lonely. Every single coworker left me. Probably for the best, though.
It'll taste fine, but yeah, salt, good. Salt makes things taste good. That's everything except for all of this cleanup.
What about sugar?
Sugar also makes things taste good.
Did you know that the United States consumes about 60 to 80 pounds of sugar every single year?
Per person? That's a lot, yeah. Not per the country, that'd be
that'd be little, but like per American,
yeah. I mean, that's definitely part of it. That was about a pound of sugar. Sorry. It's the holidays. You can eat slightly unhealthy.
How much?
You need calories to get insulation for the winter.
Calories. You should be working out.
Um,
Getting fit for the new year.
that too.
New Year's.
Okay, are we good?
So now we're taking out the pie. Final results right here coming in. Whoopsies. Don't try to do what I just did. So far, it looks normal. I'd see. I mean, we really don't know how to make pie. We just assume by this. It looks good, I suppose.
It's going to be absolutely delicious.
Yes, it is.